First-time homebuyer knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bundling car and renter's insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Chances are they live in a home and have a car. They use money and enjoy having more of it. They probably drink lots of lemonade. Lemonade. And they've probably said something suspicious like, "I'm bundling with Geico," or "Stop spying on me with those binoculars." If so, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Listen. You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Monday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Darren and Justin here with you, Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Cousin Devlin is alongside for the next 2 hours. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We were really looking forward to jumping headfirst into all things that was the weekend, and we're planning on doing that, but obviously most of you are aware of the big news in this town that is non-sports related, and it is something that there's no manual or book that's given out to us in this profession. We're a sports talk show, and I don't think there's any wrong thing to do or right thing to do. I guess the only wrong thing would be to just completely ignore it. That is the irresponsible and wrong thing to do, but unfortunately we've had a tragic incident at Covenant School in Green Hills this morning. I guess around 10:15 this morning, a school shooting which involved a 28-year-old woman who is now deceased, 3 adults, 3 children. It's just an awful situation going on in the Green Hills area, and there's just nothing good that can come out of this. And like I said, Justin, we will just try to keep everybody abreast of this story and what's going on, and just kind of pivot back and forth. Like I said, there's no manual on how to do today's show, because I'm just not sure what you're looking for out there in Radio Land. Are you looking for an escape to this, or are you looking for a little bit of both, which is what we're going to try to provide for the next 2 hours? We just kind of feel like if you really want this story hardcore, wall to wall, you're probably not going to be listening to us.
It's happening at your local news outlet. Television stations, wherever it is taking place. Obviously, my background is in both sports and news, so this is a story that I've been following here very closely. And before we get too far, I just want to say, just us as a community, as a city, we are all citizens of Middle Tennessee. Most of you under the sound of my voice, and we have people listening in other countries, and that's great. But the majority of us here in Middle Tennessee, this is shocking to hear. Most people are in shock at what has happened, and people want to know why, and we don't have a lot of answers as to why.
Yeah, we're 5 hours in? That.
5 hours in. And, police have just held another press conference where they've told us about this 28-year-old woman that they've yet to identify exactly who she is.
Most of the morning, it was a teenage female.
That's what police said at first. It was a teenage female. But it proved to be a 28-year-old woman who they, quite frankly, they have identified. They have not released the name.
Sure.
They know exactly
of course
who this
do.
person is.
Yeah.
And they're working on motivations as to why. But obviously, for those of you, whether you have kids or not, whether you have a child or whether you're not, you don't, this is amazingly sad for our community and one of the saddest days that we've had in a really long time. And this city's been through quite a bit. But yet and still, we want to, we want to obviously address it, but we also want to talk about the other things happening in the sports world. There's quite a bit of it. But if you want to say a word about it, don't feel shy as far as doing so. We'll take phone calls about whatever it is you want to talk about, which has been the hallmark of this show since Darren and I launched it back in October. Is we want to listen and hear from you. So you as the listener, if you want to chat about this, feel free. If you don't, we're not holding you to it. Feel free. Talk about the Final Four, Lamar Jackson, whatever else you want to get into, because there is plenty.
Yeah. I have made it abundantly clear to you and to the listeners, I typically don't pay close attention to the news. Sorry, Justin.
It's fine.
I'm a part-timer, very much part-time. And the first text I received this morning in preparation for today's show, doing some things this morning, was from my mother in Ohio. And she's like, is this school close to Maddox's school? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And she's like, you don't know? I mean, what's amazing is this is in Ohio. This was not long after this came out. So this
spreads fast.
I was going to say, this spread nationally pretty quick.
Yeah, it spreads like wildfire. The president of the United States has already made a comment about it. And it
that
happened
was
less than 5 hours ago.
And that was hours and hours ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she's like, you need to check out the news. And of course, then I wanted to see what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's a hard look. And like you said, this is not about whether you have kids or you don't have kids.
No.
You can be affected by this in whatever way, even if you don't have kids. It hits a little bit harder with me.
Sure.
And by the way, he's on spring break. He's in here.
Yeah.
Because he's on spring break. And because it's, that's the type of school he would be in, or he is in. He would be in. He is in.
Yeah.
He's not at Covenant. This is what, a private Christian school?
It is a private Christian school, Presbyterian school. And to be honest, listen, it's really not a school. It's a church where they're holding school.
Which is honestly...
Which is fine.
K through fifth grade, Justin?
Yeah.
I went to Lexington Christian School, and it was in a church.
My second grade year, I went to a church every day for school.
Yeah.
Every day.
So, I
understand this.
I grew up in this concept.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
But it's neither here nor there. It hits a little bit home when you have a kid that age. No one could ever fathom just even thinking about something like that. Knowing the details of going through a side door, I suspect, and I was telling him this on the car ride over, I suspect your school is going to get extremely strict when you get back from spring break on, your doors. Obviously, we go to school, the front doors, everything is locked up. He claims everything is buttoned up, but I do wonder, how the school is claiming these doors are locked, but this person evidently entered through a side door.
A side door. This was a very small school. The total enrollment at the school was just over 200 kids.
Yeah.
So this is not a big place, but this was a very large church. This is the Covenant here. It's right on the corner. For those of you not familiar with the area, it's right on the corner of Harding Place and Hillsborough Pike. Okay, is where this is, and it is 1.5 miles from Green Hills Mall. Which is a great. Most people under the sound of my voice knows where Green Hills Mall is.
If we're being honest, it's not that far from the radio station where we are right now.
Not really. No,
I mean, we could get there in
10 to 12 minutes.
I was gonna say a little bit over 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 to 12 minutes. As far as landmarks are concerned, though, it is, and they're showing some of the aerial shots of it's a pretty big facility where this happened. And so it's 1.5 miles from Green Hills Mall. And again, right now everybody's just trying to figure out and ask themselves the question, why? Why would someone do this? And Darren, you spoke it correctly. School security in this city and across the state,
it'll be heightened,
is about to get very, very intense.
The rest of the school year until summer break is going to be a whole lot different than what you thought moving forward.
And if I can add one more thing, and this is not to be glossed over, the state legislature is in session, okay? The lawmakers who make the laws for the state of Tennessee in the House and the Senate, they're in session. And they're in session only 4 months out the year. And this is one of the months. So if they want to pass brand new, laws about school safety or security or what, they can do it tonight. They are there and in full power to do whatever it is they feel like they need to do. And I just want to put that out there. If change happens fast, that's why. All the people are in place to do whatever it is they feel like they need to do.
Again, I've admitted on the front end, I'm very much part-time news person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that makes me, whatever you may view that as, so be it. That's your opinion. And that's just me. I find it depressing. The news is depressing.
This is depressing.
You live in the news world, and I think it's very depressing. But again, I do want to ask you, since this is your world in the mornings.
Yeah.
My wife watches a lot of these.
I don't.
The murder mysteries, the Datelines.
We call them news magazines.
And she even listens to the podcast on, serial killers and all that stuff.
Dateline, 2020.
All that stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
all that is, yeah.
She's into that stuff.
Sure.
Is a female mass shooting, it can't be I feel like
very rare.
I was to say, it has got to be a very rare thing, right?
Very, very rare. The last one I can think of.
I can't even remember, but I know it's rare.
It's very rare. The last one I could think of, and she wasn't by herself. It was a situation out in California where two people opened fire, and it was a man and a woman who opened fire. But I'm struggling to think of the last time there was a
solo female,
woman, who did something like this. It would take me some time.
So I'm not crazy
together.
to think that's
very not at
rare.
all. Oh, it's very rare.
Okay, because that was one of the things that jumped out to me. Getting past the awful stuff, then you start digesting everything, and you go, well. At first, I was like, teenage, female, like that's got to be almost a first. Like I've never even heard of a teenage,
not on a mass scale
female
like this. No,
mass shooting.
Not on a mass scale like this.
But again, I'm a part-timer, so I don't really know.
Think about the last quote-unquote mass shooting we had here in the city, and that would be the Waffle House shooting.
Yes.
With Travis Reinking, who was a male, obviously, who went into that Waffle House in the middle of the night in Antioch and opened fire. And so no, there no women involved in or any other, and most others, the infamous ones that you can name. No, there were not female shooters in those. It was mostly men, almost 99% of the time. So this will be, I hate to even call it interesting because it's so sad, but it will, a lot of people will want to know who did this and why.
Yeah. Let's go to Clay. Clay's up first here on the McFarland Show. Clay, what's up?
Hey, Clay.
Hey, I wanted to, I'll talk about the Final Four in a second, but I've certainly got a take on this, guys. I lived for 12 years. I had a home just right down the street from where this church is. And it's amazing to me the different things that are going on in the Green Hills area now. And that's why one of the bad things about the growth of Nashville is how stuff like this is happening now, and it's happening. I've heard other stuff going on in Green Hills, and I'm glad I don't live over there anymore. I'm currently heading straight towards where that place is on Hillsborough Road now. Do y'all know where Woodmont Baptist Church is on the corner of Woodmont Hills?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's
a
where
lot of the families.
Maddox
a lot of the families of people at this church or school had been told to go there, to pick up
That is
their
correct.
children. Now think about the ones that, lost their kids. Also, my 95-year-old mother lives in an assisted living place directly behind this church.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was over there to see my mother when this was going on, talked to one of the police about what was going on. My mother's facility is now on lockdown. And my niece's husband was part of the SWAT crew that was in this church, trying to find this crazy person. So, I mean, it's pretty connected to me. And 7 people are dead, guys. And am I going to leave Nashville? Probably not. This has always been home. But it's not the hometown I grew up in anymore, boys. And to me, that's what's really, really sad. I mean, I can't believe some of the things going on in Nashville now, because this used to be such a safe city. And, it's just not anymore, boys. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, there's bad things going on in Nashville now. But anyway, that's my take on that. So, as far as the Final Four is concerned, what a moment for Florida Atlantic and, really all 3 teams that, have made the Final Four for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to see later on, if viewership nationally, the ratings are as good as what they normally are. I think Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, I think, is the first game, correct? Saturday afternoon.
I'm very curious to what you just said, Clay.
Mm-hmm.
I really am.
Yeah, me too.
I am because we all clamor for the underdog, right? We all clamor for Cinderella.
Yeah.
And then I want to know what Tuesday, when the dust settles, after one shining moment, and we've crowned our national champ, because there is no blue blood in this. I guess you could count Connecticut as a blue blood, but you know what I mean.
They are in this sense. They are in this crowd.
Crowd, they are a blue blood. But I am very curious to your point, Clay. Are the ratings going to come out and show us that we really do clamor? Or is it going to be like, oh, the numbers were down, 16% from last year when it was Kansas and North Carolina, which then tells us, oh, we say it, but, we don't really mean it.
Yeah. And, since FDU and San Diego State play each other, one of those schools, think about that, one of those schools is going to be playing for the national championship. And that's pretty amazing. I think that's how the transfer portal and this NIL stuff is, kind of leveled the playing field. And, but, honestly, I think I'm pulling for Florida Atlantic. I mean, can you guys imagine? If that school won a national championship in men's basketball, I mean, they're really good. I've followed them pretty closely during the tournament. I mean, they're like 36-3, something like
35.
that.
35 wins.
That is a heck of a basketball team. And I would think their coach, his days are probably numbered, because he's going to get a job somewhere out of this.
Well, he's done a great job. I hope he interviews better than his post-game interviews. He's a great coach, but, man, I find his interviews to be quite boring. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm serious. Like, he has nothing to say. I'm like, dude, you are the story, and you talk. You give, 4-word answers. It's like, talk, man.
Winning is pretty exciting, though.
Well, great.
Justin?
Yes, sir.
Justin?
Yes, sir.
Real quickly on the way out the door.
Yes, sir.
Back to your little skirmish or, your little go-round with Poggy on y'all's bet on the bracket.
There was no bet here, okay? We just, whatever. Go ahead.
Poggy's a pretty big dude. He weighs, I don't know what he weighs, but so I'm just curious when they say, so give me your particulars. How tall and how much you weighing in at?
I mean, what is happening?
Whoa.
What is happening? What are we doing? Are we measuring up for a WWE brawl?
I'm going to step in here for just a second.
Because none of that is going to happen.
You say Poggi is big. If you think Poggi's big, you haven't seen Justin. Okay, he is a little much bigger than Poggi.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to give measurements or anything because I'm not going to lay a finger on Greg Pogue, and I don't think Greg Pogue is going to lay a finger on me, okay? Listen, this is just Poggi said what he said, and I showed up here, and, it's fine.
Just because Justin walked into the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio shirtless does not mean there was going to be violence.
I was not shirtless. I was wearing a full suit. Full suit, tie, the whole nine. Nothing was going to happen to one.
My story is
the
much
Hall of
more fun.
The Hall of Famer, Gregory Pogue.
Much more fun. Yours
nothing
is boring.
nothing was going to happen to that man. Nothing.
Great show as always. Boys.
Thank you, Clay. All right, we'll come back. More phone calls on the other side. 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
or,
Yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
or it may be even subtler, like,
Speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit GiveWestwood.org. GiveWestwood.org.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Reality is starting to set in. The Titans are in a bad way. We've been saying this, and people thought it was just crazy. Derrick Henry and the future, and Titans do no wrong, and Mike Vrabel, coach of the year. No, the Tennessee Titans have problems. They have holes. They have money issues, and they can't fix it overnight, and they won't fix it this season.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan. It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Reality is starting to set in. The Titans are in a bad way. We've been saying this, and people thought it was just crazy. Derrick Henry and the future, and Titans do no wrong, and Mike Vrabel, coach of the year. No, the Tennessee Titans have problems. They have holes. They have money issues, and they can't fix it overnight, and they won't fix it this season.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
So just to put this March Madness into perspective,
Yeah.
I've been running a bracket pool for decades. I don't know what the exact now. 25 years at least. Okay, I've been running it. I have never seen it. This is a first ever. Got 50 participants in it. No one has a Final Four team.
Yeah.
No one. The pool is over. Like, there's nothing anybody else can do. The standings are final. You know why? Because no one has a Final Four team.
No.
I
almost saw
I've
this.
never seen this in 25 years running a bracket pool. No one has a Final Four team.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's never happened.
It's very strange.
It's unbelievable.
Just a weird year.
How crazy this tournament. Like, we always see the upsets. We've never seen the upsets play out this far.
No.
Not like this.
No. This is weird on another level. This year was. I mean, it's one thing to have a couple of upsets, but we should have saw this coming. When we saw the 16, a 15, a 12, a 13, I don't think it was a 13 this year, but a 14 for sure, all won an opening weekend on like the first day, we should have known. Like, this is the kind of year it was going to be. So none of the number ones made it down out of their region.
4 seed is the highest.
It's the highest seed, yeah.
In the Final Four,
That's,
a 4 seed.
That's weird.
Oh, my gosh.
That's just weird.
Yeah, to say the least. Let's go back to the phones. Tony, you're up next. What's up?
Good afternoon, guys. Justin, rumor out on the street is that when you entered the office there in the studio, Pokey looked up, you gave him the John Cena hand wave in the front of the face of "you can't see me now."
No.
Is
See,
that true?
That's not what happened at all. No, that's fake news, Tony. You know about that. That's fake news, Tony. Don't believe in that. It's not what happened at all.
Guys, I was going to talk today about how offensive the Vanderbilt baseball team was over the weekend, winning the state title of Mississippi, taking care of them. I think we now want to get Southern Miss on the schedule, see if we can't beat them.
I'm sure Southern Miss would decline right now. They would be like, nope, we'll forfeit.
Anyway, I thought we would try to, get them on the schedule. But what I do want to talk about, who was offensive today, who took the offensive, is a shout-out to Metro Police Department. Unlike the law enforcement in Texas, our police department, a team of 5, charged the building, went in the building where the gunfire was, and went to it and took care of the threat. And I want to give a shout-out to those Metro police officers who just 2, 3, 4 years ago had rocks thrown at them, spit on, and everything else. So let's remember that. And they did a hell of a job doing what they needed to do today. So
Justin, what was it? 14 minutes. The response time. 14
From
minutes
the call going out
and
to the time they answered the call. Right, 14 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, just they saved lives today. As tragic as it was, so many prayers to go out to these families. So many people are going to be affected. So, yeah, it's just horrible. It is just horrible. And I don't want to get so political on this, but I'm going to leave that alone. Guys, I had 3 of the teams that didn't make the Final Four.
That's one way to say it, Tony.
I had 3 of them that didn't make it. I did actually have UConn. I don't have them winning it. Didn't have them winning it, but I did have UConn. I just thought it was their year. I mean, they always seem to be there and be around, and I just had them getting there, but the other 3 didn't even get close. So
when you say it's their year, what does that mean? Like, so you filled this out before the tournament started, and you said it's the Huskies' year?
Yeah, they're turning the rotation.
Like, you don't know anything about their body of work, and you just said, you know what? This is just probably UConn's year.
I just felt like it's their cycle. It was the way the cycle comes around.
Okay.
Villanova's always been in there. Every time you look around, Villanova's been there.
When they had Jay Wright.
Yeah.
Last year we had all the Blue Bloods. This year, it was just, I mean, that's how I didn't Like I say, the other three didn't even get close.
I guess that's what it took, Justin, to have a Final Four team in. You just had to go, you know what? I just think it's their year. And I would have had a Final Four. It's their year.
Listen, there is some validity to what Tony's saying a little bit. And
I'm being absolutely serious with this comment. I feel like the less you knew this year, the better off you were. Honestly. Like we've already proved it. Well, I mean, the more you knew.
Guys, go back through the year, Darren. Go back through the year. How many teams were at number 2 that got beat through the year? Wasn't it like 10 or 12?
It was more than that. Yeah. It was more than that.
How many teams got to number 1 and got knocked off?
Yeah, it was a lot.
So you go back through the year, there was never no solid, clear-cut
Then why didn't anybody pick that? I agree with you, but you go look at all the pundits on television and all the national media who cover this and all their brackets, and what do they have? It did not reflect what you just said.
Well, that tells you Joe Lunardi don't know everything Joe Lunardi thinks he does it, guys?
Well, I've always said
that's why Vanderbilt should have been in the tournament. One more thing. Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know if y'all saw this late last week. Well, first of all, Darren, the girl that punched the other girl, they did bring Bowling Green has brought assault charges.
Rightfully
on her.
so. They should.
They should.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Kimmel, I noticed, I think it was Thursday night, maybe Friday night, he is now on this run that Gonzaga is a fake university. It does not exist. He says they go get these basketball players, they pull them out around January, they start showing up at February and the tournaments, and then he said they show up through February and March, and they're never around when it comes April.
Wow.
You might have a point.
Wow.
And with that being said, is Timmy going to be entering the portal, or are he going to stay for his 10th year?
No, he's retiring. He's retiring.
Hey, guys, good show. And by the way, I haven't commented on it. Nobody else has. Love the little bobbleheads on the dance. I don't know who put them there, but they all look good. Like the bobbleheads.
That is the touch by management. Management decided that was an appropriate place for them to be.
And they're started with more, but
yes,
Tony, for some reason, people can't sit in here and do a show and keep them upright on the table because somehow they end up headless on the floor.
They're falling left and right, Tony. Tune in next week, and count.
Hey.
They're not going to be here.
Hey, guys, thank you for taking my call. Have a great show, guys.
Thank you, Tony. To Tony's point, very quickly before we get to our next call, is that I've done this as well. I didn't do it this year, but I've done this as well. Occasionally, you kind of get a feel for who should be making, because if you look at the Final Four, there's a lot of repeat teams. There are teams that go fairly often. Not every year, but they're around. North Carolina and Kansas and and Villanova, to Tony's point. So you just say to yourself, well, who hasn't made it in a while that could have a decent run in them this year? Who hasn't been in a little while? Who's due to make one of these Final Four runs to continue to build their career or whatever? And some people can get a Final Four team or two just that way, just by saying Duke hasn't been to Final Four in about 4 years. They're due to make a Final Four. Let's go with Duke. And I don't know anything about them or whatever's happening, but Duke, because they've been in Final Fours before. Seems about right.
To what I said. Go back and review all the ESPN shows. They all of them had Duke in the Final Four.
Yeah. That's just, well, the legacy must continue.
Yes, right.
Coach K is not there, but Duke is a solid program. Without Coach K, you know what? They're Final Four material.
You know what I should have known? Now, this is a true statement here. True story. I watched one Miami-Florida game this year. One.
Okay.
They were at home against Florida State.
Okay.
They were up 17 points in the second half. And everybody's been singing the praises of this Hurricanes team.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them squander the 17-point lead at home to Florida State. Who did Florida State play in the tournament?
Nobody.
Oh, that's right. They weren't in the tournament.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
And Florida State won in overtime.
Yeah.
I then was like, I don't get all the hubbub about Miami, Florida. Moving on. I had them losing in the first round. But I should have known. Should have known. Larinaga, right?
It's just
the
weird.
dude. By the way, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
George Mason.
Yeah.
17 years ago.
There you go.
He had George Mason in the Final Four.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that's been 17 years.
It seems like
I
it was
remember
shorter
it well.
than that, but yeah.
I'll tell you where I was.
Yeah.
I was in a suite at Bristol Motor Speedway. The spring race, and it was snowing. And I was watching was it UConn and George Mason? I believe that was the game.
I don't remember.
For them to get to the Final Four.
Yes. Listen.
I think it was UConn and George Mason. I'm pretty sure. And I was watching it in a suite at Bristol Motor Speedway in the spring race, and it was snowing.
But even that year, George Mason was the Cinderella. It wasn't George Mason.
Oh, no. Yeah, they were definitely the Cinderella.
And, whomever else. I mean, George Mason and Missouri State or something. It was just them. So, this is weird. What's happening this year is just strange.
Yeah. Let's go to Nate. Nate, you're up next. Welcome in.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Nate.
I'm just like you, Darren, when it comes to the news. I hate the news.
Dang.
I ever have since I was living at home with my parents. We used to watch, I think it was like the 6 o'clock news or whatever. And I'm sorry, Justin.
It's okay.
Just how I feel.
They're going to pay me anyway. It's okay, Nate. It's okay.
It's just, and by the way, every year I felt like it just gets worse and worse. It's like there's nothing good anymore. Like you don't laugh, you don't smile. You're just like, jeez, jeez.
There's laughter. Listen, we had on Nashville SC's dog this morning. Cash, he came in and made a visit, and everybody was laughing and having a great time.
He doesn't talk
with the dog Cash,
but he doesn't do anything.
But you're saying there was no joy on the news. I'm just trying to tell you that we had some moments of joy this morning.
Was it real laugh or was it fake TV laugh?
No, it was real laugh.
It was real laughter.
My co-workers love dogs.
So on the prompter, it didn't say laugh.
No. This was actual joy coming from my co-workers at the sight of Cash coming in the door. I'm sorry, Nate. Continue.
No, you're good. Y'all take this, however y'all take it. I really don't care. I'm becoming numb to this stuff because it just happens so much in our country. And I know I'm going to feel different here in a few months when my little girl comes. But right now, unfortunately, it kind of feels like just another day to me. But I mean, y'all don't have to comment on that. I just wanted to. I felt this way for a long time too. But Justin, I saw that Fox 17 was at the Preds or the Pekka statue unveiling on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Did you get to attend it?
No, I was not there. Joe Jelinek, our sports director, was there.
Okay. I just wanted to check because I know I asked Darren if he was going, and I didn't ask you the other day. I figured she would be there. I saw her. But being that you're now a sport talk guy, too, I just wanted to see if you had gone. It was a great ceremony. I'm real glad I missed the Vols game for that.
There wasn't a Vols game, Nate.
Well, you know what I mean. I talked about it last week.
Oh, you're talking about the one on Thursday in New York City.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. I'm glad I missed going to New York for that.
Yeah.
You lucked into the right decision.
Yeah. They could have used Pekka in goal that day.
Yeah.
And Pekka could come down off the pedestal and put on some pads.
That may have been the best part of the day.
Man.
Other than the weather and Pekka statue.
Yeah.
One more quick thing, guys.
I was in there last night, and man, they had opportunities, man. I never even heard of that guy.
Yeah.
But by the way, I guess you got to be good if you're a goalie and your name is Wall, right? I mean, you got to be good.
You would think.
Jeez, they peppered, especially in the first period, they peppered the heck out of him. They couldn't get anything past him.
No.
One more quick thing, guys. I don't know if y'all saw, I think it was 2-3 days ago, where a Canadians player got cross-checked to the face, and the Boston player that had cross-checked him, his name eludes me right now, only got a single game. I mean, I understand that there's a goon running the Department of Player Safety, which have forever been in quotations for me, because it does not seem like the Department of Player Safety. How are you going to have a guy get cross-checked to the face and only give the other player a single game? I mean, it's just ridiculous to me.
Did anybody see Duchesne's finger last night?
No.
Oof.
No, I've heard about it. I've yet to see the picture, though. I have heard about this.
Yeah, I saw him going down the tunnel on TV, but I didn't see his actual finger.
Doesn't look good. Looks like he may be on the shelf for a bit. I don't know. I'm telling you, that's why I keep saying, man, this just in, and I know it's really tongue in cheek. I'm just trying to be funny. It's not really that thing's not Nerf, man. It hurts. That puck hurts. It's hard rubber, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a thick glove on too, by the way, and it still did that to his finger.
Last thing before I go, if something, and I don't want it to happen to this person, but if something happens to Greg Pogue, you know who they're going to first, just because of all the callers?
Oh, Justin, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He will be the suspect called into question right away, immediately. It could be just he's got a flat tire, and they would ask him if he's maybe did something to his tire.
They can call me, but they'd be wasting their time because I'm not doing anything to Greg. I'm just not.
Yeah.
They can call me.
Wait, Pokey, where'd that scratch come from the back of your car?
Not from me.
Has anybody seen Justin?
Not from me.
Nope. That's what Nate's saying.
I understand. Nate and whoever else can say whatever they want. I'm just saying. I'm not, it's very simple what happened.
I'm not saying you did or will do something to Greg Pogue. I'm just saying, be careful, Justin.
Listen, I've got the truth on my side. So I don't have to be careful.
Patton told me off the air. He texted me this morning and said Pogue sat in his car, jumped out, ran inside the building, and locked the door. Nobody knows why.
I don't believe that.
This morning.
I don't believe that.
And I don't even know what that means.
I don't believe that.
That's what Patton said.
Well, then hey, good for Patton. But I'm just saying, if that's what he did,
have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Nate. We'll come back. We'll talk to Vince at 3 o'clock. More of the McFarland Show next.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
Smashville, experience Predators hockey all season long. 2023-24 season tickets are on sale now. Lock in your seat location before the general public. Score savings up to 45% off box office pricing and enjoy season ticket citizen discounts at concessions and retail. Secure your exclusive benefits at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Go Preds!
Five-state forecast.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 68. A partly cloudy night tonight, low 40. For Tuesday, partly sunny, high 60. Sunny skies Wednesday, the high 64. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio WNSR.
The Jim Rome Show.
Man, I love Facebook. That's not in any way a time suck. It is such a valuable use of your time going on everybody else's page and posting how beautiful they look when they don't. They don't. You know they don't. Come on. Anyway, do what you want with your time. I don't want you to tell me how to spend my time. I won't tell you how to spend your time, but I will tell you this. Stop cropping out pictures and including yourself and then acting like, hey, my hair looked great that day. My makeup was perfect that day. Just do what I tell you. With regards to this, you'll be fine.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio. You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
Vince Ferrara coming up to begin the second hour of the program. Again, repeating really the local news story of the day that is not sports related.
That would be the unfortunate situation that has happened over at the Covenant School. Located around the corner of Harding and Hillsborough Pike. It's right down the street from Green Hills Mall. That is where, unfortunately, seven people, including 3 children, have lost their lives as a result of a mass shooting. The shooter, according to Metro Police, is a 28-year-old woman who is also deceased. She is one of the 7 people who have died. Another 3 staff members have also died. Police are now working with the FBI, the ATF, everybody is over there trying to put together the pieces of what happened and why. The President of the United States has also made a comment talking about this. And of course, you know, the governor, the mayor, and all the dignitaries are all speaking out about this. And it is highly unusual to have a mass shooting where the person shooting is a woman, but that is indeed what has happened here in Nashville today. And authorities, even though they know exactly who this woman is, has not identified the woman as of yet, which is not totally unusual, to be honest with you. So there is a notification process. You know, even though this woman allegedly did this thing, there is still a next of kin that needs to be notified, and they don't want to do that through the news. It is inappropriate. We've decided that as a industry a long time ago, that you don't want close personal loved ones of someone to find out that someone has passed away or something tragic has happened to that person through the news media. On television, on radio, you want to get that call from that person that you know or trust, or from the police department or whomever, to break that kind of news to you. You don't want to find out through mass media. So that's why they hold the names back many times, even though they know the names. They hold it back for notification or next of kin notification.
Just a terrible, terrible story. Hopefully that is all that's going to come out from it, as in the numbers. I'm hoping.
We're all hopeful. And by the way, you know, there were other people who may have been hurt. We know a police officer hurt his hand on some of the broken glass there and was taken to get checked out. And so, you know, there are other injuries, and the trauma from this for the teachers and the students and the staff that remain in that school is, I mean, we can't even begin to talk about how long that's going to be with them. It's going to be with them the rest of their lives in some cases.
I can't imagine that they're going to go back to school this year.
listen, we've had situations where these kind of things have happened, and they've had to tear down schools. They've had to tear Newtown, Connecticut, when that whole thing happened. Mm-hmm. The school where that happened doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. They tore it down, built a brand new building. Uvalde down in Texas, they're tearing that bad boy down, and they're going to build another school. You can't move forward in that building after that. This is a little different because this isn't exactly a school.
It's a church.
It's a church.
Yeah.
It's a church with a school-type building attached to it. So that's where we are.
Apparently, the Jets are interested in Ben Jones.
Okay.
So I guess all former Titans are going to New York.
Well, apparently, if you listen to the reports 2 months ago, Ryan Tannehill was traded to the Jets, wasn't he? No?
Well,
that trade hasn't been gone through yet?
It hasn't.
No.
I got to be honest.
The report said.
It did. I am still very shocked Ben Jones is playing another year. I really am. And going to play somewhere else. I kind of felt like he was going to end it here, and I guess if they're not interested in bringing him back and he wants to play again, he didn't strike me as that guy that's going to, especially, what's happened to him the last couple of years. I just feel like he would walk away sound of mind and just say enough is enough, but apparently not.
Listen, and we don't know all the things going on. He may not make it through training camp. That happens all the time, where guys want to give it another go. They think they're good. They get in camp and realize I can't do it. And at the position that he plays in, he is liable for something else to happen to him. I hope not. I hope he plays as long as he wants and as safe as he can possibly be. But the position of center, you're going to come into contact, a lot of it. So we'll see.
All right, we'll step away. Final time. Come back. Wrap up the first hour next.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life, call 800-529-2856.
I'm here at the Big Game headquarters. Total Wine & More, scoring huge savings on the perfect bourbon. Local craft beer.
Forgetting something?
Oh yeah, Cabernet, seltzers, and so many low prices.
Valentine's Day is right after.
Whoa, new game plan.
You got this. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly, too.
Thank you, I would have been so...
You sure would have.
Your Big Game headquarters. Love what you find, always at the lowest price. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
Sports fans, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights at 6 and hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby and Darren McFarland.
Hey, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights from 6 until 7 o'clock as we highlight high-level trainers, coaches, and players in and around Middle Tennessee. Give us a call at 615-844-5600. We live video stream all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
And hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby.
And hear me, Darren McFarland, live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Tennessee Titans have tweeted out something to the news, about the news today. We are heartbroken by the senseless loss of life at Covenant School today. We offer our condolences to the families and friends of the victims and the entire Covenant School community. That is from the Tennessee Titans on Twitter. Derrick Henry also tweeted out, I am heartbroken and sick over the lives lost today. At Covenant School, I'm praying for comfort and peace for all those affected in our community. Nashville SC also putting something out.
Yeah, Nashville SC says, and I quote, we are devastated by today's horrific shooting at a school and the thought that these innocent children and staff will not be coming home. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, their families, and the community of Covenant School in this difficult moment. And that is from Nashville SC.
UT men's basketball done. Lady Vols are done.
Yeah, we're done with basketball here in
baseball. Got a sweep this weekend. But baseball, Tennessee and Vanderbilt with the sweeps this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it's been a lot of sweeps so far in conference play in right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So far.
Yeah. No, they've been busy. You know, either you win them all or you don't.
The SEC right now is about either somebody's going to sweep somebody.
Listen, if you lose game one, just stay home next couple of days. Don't even bother. That's the way it's been going.
Wow. Okay.
If you lose game one, what's the point?
And then, of course, you've got spring football. So we'll get into all things Tennessee with Vince Ferrara, who's back home from New York City. We will talk him to kick off the second hour of the McFarland Show. That's next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. President Biden repeating his call to pass a ban on assault weapons after another mass shooting, this time at a private Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. 7 people killed, including 3 children, and the shooter, who is female. Don Aaron is with Nashville police.
We are efforting now to identify her. She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots.
Ashley Beasley and her son were near the school at the time of the shooting. They're from Highland Park, Illinois, the site of another mass shooting less than a year ago.
I have been lobbying in D.C. since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130 lawmakers. How is this still happening?
In Mississippi, at least 21 people are dead after an EF4 tornado tore through parts of the state over the weekend. This is ABC News.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation and irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke.
Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this month with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 100 different wines and spirits, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Love what you find at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Throw me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Monday afternoon. Darren and Justin here, Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Saddened by the news we learned this morning just after 10 o'clock of a shooting at Covenant School in the Green Hills area. 3 children, 3 adults, dead, shooter, dead. Female, 28 years old. Horrible, horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah. They are now, by the way, scheduling prayer services for those interested in that over at Belmont and Lipscomb this afternoon and evening for those who are interested in that as we start to try to cope with this here in the city.
Let's head east. Let's go to Knoxville. Let's bring in our man, Vince Ferrara, 99.1, the sports animal there. Vinny, how we doing?
I'm good. I mean, obviously, I'm bummed hearing about another school shooting and certainly affecting, the mid-state. Just so tragic, so sick of it. It just thinking of everybody there and hope that, these things can come to an end here soon.
No doubt about it. Well, how do we transition? That's always a strange transition, but here we go. What are you, now that you've had a little time, I know we talked to you on Friday and you were driving back from New York. Now that you've had time to reflect, what is your biggest takeaway from this season from the Vols?
Well, Darren, I drove back from New York, so I had no time to reflect on anything.
I know you were busy. You were really busy. You had how many? By the way, how long was that trip? About what? 9-10 hours?
Vince?
Is Vince there?
Vince, you?
Hello? Did he mute?
Yeah,
him?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
You got me?
gotcha.
Okay.
How long
Sorry,
was
I'm on
that
the road.
drive? 10 hours?
I tell people, no, it was not 10 hours. I tell people this, and no one can believe me. I punched in door to door to Knoxville to the Amway Center, and exact same spot at work in Orlando, by the way, to our hotel in New York, which is down the road from Madison Square Garden. And New York City was only 60 miles farther than Orlando from Knoxville, believe it or not.
Huh.
So, but the drive was about 12 hours one way.
Okay.
Now, we were in New York City for about 48. That means we were on the road for about 24. You hope for a little better ratio than that at your destination. And all told, the 3 trips I did, and I think I talked to you from almost all of these spots, if not all of them, or Nashville, Orlando, New York, all drives over 3,100 miles driven in 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, we didn't talk to you when you were here because you were here we blinked our eyes and you were gone. So we didn't really talk to you when you were in Nashville. You weren't here very long. But the other ones we did.
During the day too, yeah.
It was during our show, yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy to be not traveling this week and getting back into the regular grind. But to answer your question, Darren, I think what happened was we saw the issues that Tennessee had resurface all year. Inconsistent play, peaks against elite teams, and then you fall back. This team had not been consistent for a long time before they started getting injuries in early February. So that was a fabric of this team. Inconsistent play by individuals. We talked about Olivier Kamwa. He had career high 27 and followed it up with scoring his first basket with just over 5 minutes to go in the game. And so that was the norm. This team doesn't get inside scoring, and that is connected to Olivier Kamwa largely because he's their best offensive scorer. That's a problem for their guards when teams extend out on them and make life difficult for them. That's why you see Vescovi shooting from so far beyond the three-point line. Sometimes he makes them, but it's still not the highest percentage shots. They don't drive the lane enough. They don't have enough willing and or able drivers to the basket. And honestly, they didn't even with Zakai Ziegler. And without him, it really is not much of a part of this offense, unfortunately. Their best offense was when Duke went to the zone and they parked at in the middle of the free throw line, in the middle of the zone, which opened things up for them because they could collapse the defense without having to drive it. That's when they looked their best, but no one else would play them zone because they knew that no one was beating them off the dribble and collapsing their defense. And so that was an issue. In fact, Greg Polinsky told me that in the postgame, I did a one-on-one interview with them, and he told me we need a more consistent, dynamic driver to the basket. And I think what he means is not just one guy that can get into the lane, but one that can score. And Ziegler he would penetrate, but he would have trouble scoring over the length inside. And plus, unlike Florida Atlantic, they only had at one time one guy that could do it, whereas Florida Atlantic had a bunch of drivers. They had a bunch of shooters. Everybody can shoot. Everybody was fast and athletic. Everybody could drive to the basket, and they were all threats. And that's the other point, is that Tennessee, to me, was not fast enough or athletic enough or diverse enough to be able to advance to where fans want them to be. And I do think whether it's changing the type of player that they bring in here or a change in approach offensively, I think there needs to be more attention to that side of the ball and maybe call more plays, maybe give some guys some more freedom. In an offensive world of college basketball, Tennessee is not good enough on offense. And it can't be all one way, right? Because Alabama fans are complaining that there was no plan B for Nate Oates and their 3-and-drive offense. But these teams that are still around, they have different ways to beat you. Tennessee, at their peak, had different ways to beat you. It just wasn't consistent. So you either need a change of philosophy to help your guys through that, or you need a change of personnel to give you those options as a coach. One way or the other, I think that area needs to be advanced with this Tennessee basketball program.
How do you do, and how, let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Rick Barnes has been doing this a long, long time. And whenever something, just for whatever reason, again, I said this on Friday, and I said, I've been critical of Rick Barnes this time of year for many, many years, going back to Texas. I don't have anything against him. I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's a Hall of Fame basketball coach that for whatever reason, when there's pressure, it just hasn't happened. And I don't know why. I can't explain it. But there is a long history of literally the same thing happening time after time after time after time after time after time over decades. And there's a word, it's called insanity. When the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And so I'm just curious, Vince, if Rick Barnes has ever gotten in a room with maybe his other coaches or other coaches that he highly respects that have been highly successful over the years and just says, what do I do? Clearly this works in the regular season. Why doesn't it work in the NCAA tournament? What do I need to change? What do I need to do differently? Do you think he's ever had those thoughts or those conversations?
Probably not would be my guess. He mentioned in the post game, and fans don't want to hear it, just how difficult it is to win in March, and so few teams get to the goal and the success that they want in the end. And so I think he probably views it as circumstance, as you continue to try to get better players, you continue to try to coach them up and get them to do the right thing. Maybe you work on it in recruiting. I've asked him how, if through the years he has changed what he does in terms of, as you move on in your coaching career, do you make adjustments, whether it's your practices or getting you through the season and preparing to try to have deep runs in the NCAA tournament? And he said, no, not really. He said, you're always looking to evolve, but there wasn't like one thing where he called Tom Izzo, and Tom Izzo was like, yeah, this is what you need to do. I don't think it's gone. He talks to everyone, so I'm not saying that topic has never come up, but I don't think he views it as, well, I'm doing something wrong, and so I need to completely change, because they have had so much success. It's just it hasn't happened in the postseason for him like it has for the Izzos and many of the others.
There's a long list. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think your answer's right, Vinny. I really do. But don't you think that's a mistake? I agree with you. I think that's probably the answer. I know you don't know. I'm just asking your opinion. But don't you think that's a mistake for him to feel that way? I mean, once it's, we're not talking about, 8 years as a head coach. We're not talking about 18 years as a head coach. We're not talking about 28 years as a head coach. We're talking about almost 40 years as a head coach. Like, isn't it a mistake to not try to change something? Not to try, because again, if the same thing keeps happening, at what point do you decide to switch it up and try something else?
Well, it's philosophy and beliefs versus ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone else has ideas and suggestions, he may not feel like that would apply for him and his circumstance and his personnel and his beliefs. He brings in a certain type of player. They bring in recruiting, they bring in athletes that have versatility that they can mold into great defenders and be tremendous representatives to the university and learn the game of basketball. Because, Tennessee, I think, is second or third, while Barnes has been there, in number of players that they've gotten to the NBA in the Southeastern Conference. And guys that go to the NBA typically know the game. So it's not like the players and no one is benefiting. They're still filling up Thompson-Boling Arena. There's still clean program, the APR. There's a lot of things that are happening there. So you could say, all right, well, you got to bring in this kind of guy. Well, that's not the kind of guy I want in my program. So there may be some of that tug of war where he knows what other people might suggest, but he might not be willing to give it up either from a individual you bring into your program standpoint or not relenting on the defense. Now, some of those you could debate on. I get the off-the-field stuff. You don't want to just bring in anyone. But the defense versus offense, that's an adjustment to life in the sport now. And I think he knows what the sport is now. I just feel like he has confidence that he, with the right players, can not lose out on his philosophy and still get guys to play at a high level offensively as well. It hasn't happened, but if you see what I'm talking about, I don't think the give and take has been enough to where he's going to really give up some principles to change other things that have worked for other people.
Vince, how good? Let me try it this way. How good is Tennessee supposed to be as a basketball program? Are they supposed to be a national championship, Final Four basketball program, or are they supposed to be just, they had a good season and going to the Sweet 16 is a good year for them? Like, how do you judge a team that doesn't have a championship legacy as a basketball program anyway?
Well, Justin, it's a good question. The answer is it depends who you ask. Because, honestly, the standard for Tennessee basketball success for fans was much different pre-Rick Barnes, right? That's kind of the dilemma. They're not even sniffing any of the success that they've been having or this raised bar of we want more in the NCAA tournament if it's not for Rick Barnes and him bringing the stability. People point to what he makes. The contract he makes is not because they need to deliver. He's supposed to be delivering national championships and Final Fours. It's because he brought them the stability and the financial success and so many things that came with it. The one missing piece has been the deep run in the NCAA tournament, but there have been so many other things that they've succeeded on, and all those things have raised the bar, the recruiting and everything else. So now the bar is different than what it was before. So those that are younger are probably hey, everybody else, you got Florida Atlantic, all these first-timers that we can't go to the Final Four, whereas those that maybe go a little bit farther back recall what it was like and then are maybe a little bit more understanding. But it changes person to person on how they view it. But it is a different demand for success now than it was prior to Rick Barnes because they've had so much regular season success and a lot of wins overall.
But here's my issue with that Vince. Did I miss Rick Barnes winning the national championship? Has that already happened somewhere? Did that happen? And so all I'm saying is, how is it that we're expecting Rick Barnes to come into Tennessee and win the national championship when he didn't win the national championship and some of the other locations where I'm just trying to figure out where the expectation is created and if it's really fair. If it's really fair to Tennessee, if it's really fair to Rick Barnes to ask him to, I mean, he's not like, Coach K or the other folks that are out there that have this brass ring on them coming in the door. I just know football. In football, if you hire John Gruden, you expect John Gruden to come in here and win Super Bowl. Why? Because he won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. So you expect him to come in here to do the same. That's typically where the coach is, with the expectation.
I hear what you're saying, Justin, but somebody's going to win the national championship this year that hasn't won it before.
Yeah.
Now, UConn has done it as a program, and look, that I think frustrates fans even more that the Final Four looks the way it does. I can't tell you how many times I heard about the bracket opening up for Tennessee.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So,
and I heard I heard it. You could feel it in the radio when we asked you about that they were the favorite. I could hear you bristling through the radio because you were like, because it's like, it went from no pressure to back to pressure. Expectations.
Yeah, I mean the players told us. They like being the underdog. They said it's easier for them. Now, Rick Barnes isn't talking that way, but that was just an honest answer. I think it was Josiah Jordan James and maybe some others agreed with that. But it is different. This team does play better when they play high-level competition and with a big brand name, and people are doubting them, and they can have that chip on their shoulder. And I asked a bunch of those players, and other people did too, hey, what about now that you guys are the favorite? Are you going to have that motivation still? And they're all like, yes, absolutely. It's about how we play, blah, blah, blah. So that clearly was not the case. Rick Barnes said, and I hadn't mentioned this to you guys yet, but I think this is very key. I'm glad kind of took this direction in the conversation. Rick Barnes said that there were some guys that weren't as dialed in as they needed to be, and they expected them to be in that game. How?
Right.
How is that
right.
possible?
Yeah.
With everything on the line, how can you not have the level of urgency and focus? You might have been talking about Olivier Kamwa. Toby Awaka barely plays from New York. He's been great. They were getting out-rebounded. He's their best rebounder, and he played a minute in the first half. Julian Phillips didn't get a ton of minutes as well as a freshman. So, I mean, those would be some that you could maybe point to. But, man, how is that the case? So that's kind of another little sidebar that is head-scratching because effort has never been a thing with this team. So it's just been it's been frustrating to just watch them game in, game out because you don't know what you're going to get other than the inconsistency, and that played out once again.
All right, real quick on the way out. Thursday is Pro Day in Knoxville. They haven't had a lot of first-round picks in the past. In the last 10 plus years. Do you think that's about to change? How much attention is going to be on, Darnell Wright? How do you see this Pro Day playing out on Thursday?
I think we're going to see more NFL people there and maybe some higher level NFL people there than we've seen in a while. Now, there's been some interesting guys. There's always NFL scouts there, but I think Mike Tomlin's been there almost every year or many years. But I think you're going to see more of those guys there this year because of Darnell Wright, because of Jalen Hyatt. Those are your two best candidates for a first-round pick. And you see mock drafts now, guys, Darnell Wright is in pretty much all of them in the first round now, and he's climbed up in some of those first-round mocks. Jalen Hyatt is in plenty of them, but in some he is not in there. I think Jalen Hyatt wants to run that electric sub 4.4 time that he feels like he's capable of. So that could move the needle a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be different. Tennessee looking for their first round draft pick since Derek Barnett. And if they get two in the first round, it'll be the first time since 2010 when they had Eric Berry and Dan Williams go in the first round. So it is a different feel this year. And next week we'll getting back into the grind of football practice. We can get into this Tennessee football team. They're doing a bunch of interviews, but we'll jump back into practice this week and see what's going on out there as well.
Yeah, it'll definitely be football heavy next week when we talk to you. Just so you know, I did see one mock. It was Chris Trapasso, because I want to give him credit for either being a genius or somebody we'll laugh at, because I just don't see it. I'm not rooting one way or the other. I just don't see it. He's got Hendon Hooker going 23rd overall to the Vikings. I just don't see that.
I didn't see that one specifically, and I think there's at least another one out there, because I thought I did see one out there for Hendon in the first round. Look, Daniel Jeremiah said during the Combine broadcast when Rich Eisen asked him, what about first round for Hooker? He said, I wouldn't have a problem with that. He's made a big impact on teams, and it only takes one for someone to be in love with him and not hold his age or injury against him. He's on pace to be ready to go for the start of the year, so you probably won't miss out on a lot of rookie camp and that kind of stuff. So, man, he's a different guy. I have more trust in him by far over Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, I'll tell you that. If others see it the same way, then let somebody else take a chance on a risk. That's a guy you can feel good about in being a future starting quarterback in the NFL. So, bottom of the first, into the second. He's a pretty consistent second round mock draft projection, Darren. So once you get into the 20s, the bottom of the first round, there's plenty of teams that will take from that same pool and just go get their guy in that way. Others will work the board, trade down, wait for their guy, get some draft capital going, assets, and then play the board. Others will be like, I'm not going to risk him not being there. I'm just going to go get him right now.
Yeah, another guy for CBS Sports had Jalen Hyatt going 26th overall to the Cowboys. Like I said, we'll get hot and heavy into all that stuff with you next week. Vinny, really appreciate it. Enjoy the week. And I know we didn't get a chance to talk about Tennessee's sweep over Texas A&M in baseball, but good series for them. Nice bounce back for them. But we'll get into all that stuff next Monday.
Yeah, for sure. And Lady Vols exiting in the Sweet 16 too. I wish there was something going on in Tennessee sports, but here we are.
They lost twice to Virginia Tech this year.
Yes.
Who would have thought that? Yeah, we'll make sure to touch on that. Last week, I do want to get your thoughts on success, what your thoughts are on their season. All right, thank you, Vince.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Vince Ferrara, 99.1, the Sports Animal there in Knoxville. We'll take a break, come back with more. Wide open the rest of the hour, 615-844-5600.
Hey, Nashville, start your day the right way with Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel. Bongo Java is Nashville's oldest local coffee company. Get your day started with a freshly baked muffin and wash it down with a hot cup of dark roast or hair of the dog blend. With free Wi-Fi, you can get some work done while enjoying a toasted breakfast sandwich. Beat the traffic. Treat yourself at Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown Music City.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the TSSAA and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals.
First pitch at 12:05, exclusively on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Titans fans, Preds fans, we have you covered. The McFarland Show.
$615-844-5600. Appreciate Vince Ferrara for joining us. Good stuff. We could have done probably the whole hour with him. Lamar Jackson. Things are heating up, and not in a good way. It seems like both sides may be ready for a divorce. I mean, we know, well, at least from the reports, that Lamar Jackson is maybe ready for a separation. But when you read the stuff about the Ravens, it may be their time for they're ready for a separation too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it right now, at least.
Because they don't seem that interested in bringing him back.
Well, not for what he's asking for, no.
Right.
No, that they can't seem to get together on a price, and that is seeming to be the cause of the issue here. And, clearly Lamar Jackson feels like he has earned a certain amount, and he's earned certain conditions, because I refuse to believe this is just about money. This has to be about other guarantees and treatment and, other perks in the contract as well, more than just about dollars and cents. So, and now if he thinks he can find that elsewhere, good luck. And I'm sure he can, maybe, but this is a tough time of the year to do it. Because, I don't know who's going to be willing to trade their whole future right now for Lamar Jackson. I just don't see it.
Well, if they wanted to, they would have stepped up and done it.
Yeah, they would have already offered the 2 first-round picks to go get him already. And no one's done that, either because they don't think he's worth it or because they don't think they can strike a long-term deal with him.
I just don't see where anybody in their right mind could say he's worth 2 first-round picks and the big bucks, which could possibly be all guaranteed. I just don't see anybody saying, yeah, interested. He's just not – sorry, he's just not that guy. Well, he's good. He's just not untouchable good.
He hasn't finished the last 2 seasons.
What?
He's been hurt at the end of the year, the last 2 years.
Has he played full seasons since his rookie year?
I think maybe the MVP year, maybe. Or
I don't know. I
feel like one of the years, but But no, not many. The majority of the time, no. And that's what I'm saying. Like, no one's going to do that. They need you to play. And, here you are entering the late 20s, and, he hadn't played a full season. Who's giving him money for that?
Here's the thing, Justin. I'm not saying that all franchises are correct, okay? Because sometimes they miss. Look, this is maybe a bad example, but San Diego missed on the value of Drew Brees, and I get it. It was because of his surgery. What do you have? Shoulder surgery? Is that right?
Drew Brees, yes.
Right, and so their medical staff said,
non-throwing, but the non-throwing arm.
Right, but they're like, it scares us, and they were willing to move on. They were willing to move on from Drew Brees, and he ends up in New Orleans. And so that's a swing and a miss because they shouldn't, as we know, they should have never moved on from Drew Brees.
Wow.
But that was, again, shoulder surgery.
But Darren, they moved on from Drew Brees and ended up with Phillip Rivers, another Hall of Fame quarterback.
True.
Now,
was he as good as Drew Brees? No.
No, but, it's the drop-off.
Right, they didn't plummet. Right, they didn't go to the bottom of the ocean.
And listen, with what's going on in San Diego at the time, there's no way to know if Drew Brees would have actually won a Super Bowl in San Diego with that same cast or not. Maybe, possibly, but we don't know that. Not
and
for
he didn't have Sean Payton, so yeah.
Not
maybe
for certain.
Maybe not. Like I said, I didn't know if it was the greatest example. The point is, teams aren't always right. But with that being said, who knows Lamar Jackson better than anybody?
The Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
And to me, if he's Patrick Mahomes, guess what they're doing?
They're giving him the Patrick Mahomes,
They're
package.
giving him whatever he wants, right? And we could probably list those quarterbacks, right? Let's say at 26 years old.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's about to get that in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is notorious.
Yeah.
Notoriously
cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Their
cheap,
owner,
cheap.
Mike Brown.
Cheap.
Yeah.
He's a cheapskate. Is he going to be cheap with Joe Burrow? Nope.
No, he can't be.
He won't be.
No.
He won't. He'll make an exception. He'll bend over. He'll take his wallet out, and he'll get a crowbar, and he'll open that sucker up, and he'll pay him whatever he wants.
And this is not hyperbole. I think if he did not, the people of Cincinnati would literally run him out of town with actual torches. Like no kidding. Like they would find him and run him out of the city across the Ohio River.
Yeah, he doesn't have it right. They'd run him into Kentucky.
Yeah. They'd run him right up the hill. Right over into Covington.
Yeah, right up the hill in Covington. Yeah, into Florence.
Yeah.
Right to the mall.
Yeah.
Right to Florence Mall.
He couldn't stay. Well, we got very detailed here.
We did. I know that area quite well.
Yeah, gotten very detailed about that.
But they know him, and if he was everything you can imagine, right? They can't miss, and they know him better than anybody. The deal would be done. It just would be. So they know things, I guess, as they say, they know his warts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or his whatever it is. Is he the last one to show up to the facility and the first one to leave? I don't know. But they know that.
Well, yeah,
they know that stuff.
They do.
And I'm not saying that's what's in play, but they know those finite details.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was the first to the facility and the last to leave, never was hurt, has had playoff success, and is 26 years old, he would have his deal.
Yeah, and that's where he messed himself up. He didn't play in these, and I said this last week, when he did not play in these playoff games, okay? Because that's how you make your case.
And they
you want to get paid like Joe Burrow?
He could have.
Go beat Joe Burrow out here in January, and you're not available, and now you want Joe Burrow money? Man, please. And the other part of this, Cincinnati, Kansas City, and let's take the other big one in Buffalo, where they're going to back up the Brinks truck too as well for Allen up there. They all are missing something, or at least were missing something, and that is Super Bowls. They don't have a long Super Bowl history. The Chiefs do now because of the recent success of Patrick Mahomes, which is why you pay him. The Bengals do not. The Bills do not. So when you find a guy that you think they can give you one, yeah, you're going to really pay him. The Baltimore Ravens, they've got two in the case without you.
Yep.
So why do you think they're going to give you premium money when you haven't been able to deliver one since you've been here, and they've already got 2 without you. It doesn't make any sense. You've overplayed your hand with them. Yeah. Now, if you're with the Detroit Lions, different situation.
They got no skins on the wall. They got nothing. They don't have a trophy case.
If the Detroit Lions had drafted Lamar Jackson in this very same situation, no agent, none of the exact same situation, they probably.
You gotta throw probably in there.
Probably. I can't guarantee it.
Again, notoriously cheap.
Can't guarantee it.
They've had players retire.
That's true. 2 Hall of Famers.
How they treat players. 2 of the best.
2 of the best ever. That's true.
A receiver and a running back. 2 of the best ever.
No question.
Walk away in their
prime.
I don't want to say
the tail end of their prime.
I was going to say not their prime,
no,
but
the tail of their prime.
Still had miles left. Still had tread.
Lots of good tread.
Right? They had tread left.
Lots of good tread.
And they said, peace out.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Retire.
They may, though. And a couple of other friends, they might have given Lamar Jackson what he wanted because of the potential that he had to possibly give them something that they've never had. But you're playing the game with the wrong person playing that game with the Ravens.
Yeah.
It's just, like they don't need you like that.
He didn't read the room very well.
No. The Jets would have given him whatever.
Whatever.
In this exact same, him and Woody would have sat down in the room. The Jets would have given him whatever.
Yep.
The Ravens, not the one.
Not the one. All right, we'll step away, come back. More of the McFarland Show next here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Fun is in full bloom, Tennessee, and the Multiplier Instant Games are buzzing in. These colorful tickets offer chances to multiply your wins 10, 20, 50, and even 100 times. It's a beautiful day for bigger and bigger prizes, and they're ripe for the picking right now. Find the Multiplier Instant Games today at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
This responsible gaming message is brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. When you play the lottery, it's important to play responsibly. Know your limit and spend only what you can afford. Set a budget and stick to it. And remember, as long as you're having fun, you're always a winner in our book. The Tennessee Lottery is a proud supporter of National Problem Gambling Awareness Month. To learn more about problem gambling resources, visit tnlottery.com.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bundling car and renter's insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Chances are they live in a home and have a car. They use money and enjoy having more of it. They probably drink lots of lemonade. Lemonade. And they've probably said something suspicious like, "I'm bundling with Geico," or "Stop spying on me with those binoculars." If so, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls, designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched service, unmatched expertise.
It's a Bill King Show.
If Nick coached another 7-8 years, I would not be shocked at all. I wouldn't be. Now, I'm not predicting it because I don't think you can predict that kind of thing. We don't know that. If he coached to 80 I would not be flabbergasted.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Our thoughts and prayers are obviously with anyone who had their lives affected today, this morning, at Covenant School in Green Hills. 3 adults, 3 children dead. Female, 28 years of age, dead.
Yes. And
the shooter.
We found out she is a former student.
She is a former student
of that school.
I didn't know that school had been around that long. I don't know why I didn't know much about Covenant School.
I don't know much about the school either. The school, we understand, only has an enrollment of around 200, and it is it's a Presbyterian church is where it is located there, around the corner of Hillsborough Boulevard and Harding Place there. It's 1.5 miles from Green Hills Mall. If you've been over there, it's a ginormous. Now, listen, let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of big churches in Green Hills, so I'm not going to say it's the big church in Green Hills.
There's a lot of big churches in town.
Yeah, there's quite a few. This one is especially large, but it's on that corner there by itself. And we had a caller calling in, Clay, a little while ago, saying the assisted living home is right behind it. And he's right. I've seen the assisted living home nearby, very close to Station 20 for the Nashville Fire Department, where we understand some of the students, once they got away from the school, took off running and ended up over there at the fire station. The FBI and the ATF are all in the area now, and they're just doing the investigation. The active part of this is over. They're just trying to find clues at this point, trying to talk to anybody. And there are reports that they are going to the shooter's home, but I don't want to give all that out because we don't know for sure exactly if this is the shooter's home or not. But they're trying to find it. They're trying to find the shooter's home and any clues that they may have left behind. Oh,
they'll find it.
They always know more at this stage in the game, Darren.
Oh, they'll find it.
They know way more
Don't worry about
than
that.
what they're telling us.
Yeah.
And that is fine, and to me, expected at this stage in the game.
Yeah. We'll just wait for that to be official, but
they'll
find it.
Oh, yeah.
They'll find it. Big weekend for the Preds. Big weekend for Pecorine. The unveiling of the statue, almost 12 feet tall bronze statue, outside in the plaza at Bridgestone Arena. First player in this market, right? With a statue, is that correct?
Is
there another player with a statue? Am I missing
not
something?
From a professional sports team, no.
Is there a statue, period, of an athlete in this town?
There might be a Wilma Rudolph statue somewhere over at TSU's campus,
really?
I think.
Okay.
A small one or a bus maybe. I'm not positive on that, but she would be the only one. Other than that, no, that there's nobody else.
He's the first European player to get a statue in North America. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very special. You've seen pictures of the statue. What do you think of it? I've got mixed feelings about
Well, I
the
went to
actual
the game yesterday, so
work of
I
art.
saw the statue.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't able to get there Saturday because I wasn't
sure
allowed. But
Sure.
yesterday I was allowed to resume normal activities. But yeah, I mean it's a bronze statue. I don't know what to say. I guess here's why I hesitate, because I know where you're going with this. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to. Maybe we should get Scott Wise on. The sculptor, the one that was the man behind all this, a local man.
Yeah.
Behind all this. I think in Clarksville, Dixon, somewhere west of town. But I don't know what they're supposed to. I mean, are they supposed to look different? I don't know. That evidently they used his actual stick and pads. Is that right?
I've heard that as well.
So, I thought it was cool.
It is very cool, for sure. I just, I don't know.
Are you talking about like the likeness? Because here's the way I view that. Have you ever seen a bobblehead?
I have.
We've
got a few here.
I know, but do they really present the likeness of that person?
Well, it's a bobblehead.
Well, but it's a bobblehead. So but have you ever looked at a bobblehead and were like, man, spot on, huh? Spot on.
I've never done that. No,
none of us have ever done that.
No.
It's kind of close, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going with it?
I don't know. You know. Listen, they're hard to do to begin with.
Yeah.
Statues are not
it
the
took him
easiest
almost
thing.
a year,
yeah,
right?
I mean, they're not the easiest thing to get up there and do to begin with. So, I mean, but I don't know. I thought like I could barely see the Predator, on the jersey. I was hoping that would pop out a little bit more. I thought maybe there could have been a couple more. But I need to go see it in person. I've only seen pictures, so I need to get up close with it in order to make a real fair assessment of it.
I'm just really happy because Johnny, listening in Vancouver, tweeted at us.
Yes.
And he said, I didn't know that Pekka was the first European-born player to get a statue in North America. I got one past Johnny. Johnny's the one that always has all the trivia, right?
Johnny knows everything.
He's got the trivia questions. He's got the answers.
Oh, yeah.
I got him on one.
That is a good catch by you.
He said he beat the Sedin twins to the punch. And they retired before he did.
That is very cool as well. That is awesome.
Right.
By the way, real quick before we go to break, there is a Wilma Rudolph statue, but it is not in Nashville. It's in Clarksville, which makes sense because that's where she's from.
Okay. And it's a statue, or you said bust? Is it?
No, it's a statue.
Okay.
No, there's an actual Wilma Rudolph. I've seen the pictures here. Wilma Rudolph statue in Clarksville.
Okay. All right, we'll step away. We'll come back, wrap up Monday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
What's your next dream? Paying off your credit card, remodeling your kitchen, exploring the rainforests of Costa Rica? Whatever your dreams, they take some planning. And State Farm agent Austin Hardy is right here in the Middle Tennessee community to lend a hand. As your local good neighbor, he can help you look at the things you want to save for and come up with a plan to make those saving goals happen. Because your money should work just as hard as you to achieve your dream. So whether it's being free of debt or free to roam the world, call State Farm agent Austin Hardy here in the Middle Tennessee community. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
Or,
yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
Or it may be even subtler, like,
speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit GiveWestwood.org. GiveWestwood.org.
Attention high school sports fans. Are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
The Predators make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they'll get in.
Penn? Yeah, they'll make it and probably get bounced.
I don't think they're going to. Yeah,
they'll make it but lose.
I feel
attitude that these people have.
Go ahead there, rah-rah guy.
Are they going to win the Stanley Cup, Greg? No, they're not. Okay,
You know,
so what
are we saying?
Let me ask you.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
A little bit more details coming out about today's tragedy. Looks like the 3 children were 9 years old, man. Gosh.
Oh, wow. That's
3 of the adults, one of them, I guess it's come out, was the headmaster of the school.
What was the headmaster?
Mm-hmm.
That is.
This is coming from Metro Nashville PD.
Oh, they've issued
on Twitter.
New
This is
stuff
on Twitter.
out here. Okay.
And I guess also the shooter's name has been released too. Is that true?
Yeah, well, at least one news outlet has released the name, and it's a reputable one, so I feel comfortable at least giving it to you with attributing to them. NBC News is reporting that Audrey Hale is the name of the shooter. Audrey Hale, a 28-year-old woman who lived here in Nashville, was responsible for today's shooting at Covenant School. And again, we're waiting for police to come out with a brand new press conference here in a few minutes and maybe confirm some of those details. But again, that's coming from NBC News, who's got their own sources and all that to confirm information like this.
Those 6 families, you will definitely be in our thoughts and prayers. This is just going to be an awful, awful time. And honestly, everybody who was at that school, you're in our thoughts and prayers because life is not going to be normal for you anytime soon.
No.
Or ever.
No. This is a
like
life.
Some people maybe will never be able to get over something like this.
It is an awful thing that has happened today, and it affects people on a deep level, and it will affect people on a deep level for years and years to come. And that is what's so tragic about this. So hopefully Nashville can begin to come together and try to cope, because you can't really heal right now. All you can do is kind of cope with what happened.
We did the best we could today. We weren't, like I said, there's no manual. There's no book on what to do in these situations. We tried just to kind of do both today.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what's the right thing to do. I think the only thing we agreed on is the wrong thing would be just to ignore the news. And we could not do that. That's irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
So we chose definitely not to do that. Be safe out there. Hold tight your loved ones. You just never know from day to day what could happen. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch is next.